What up? How y'all doing? It's your boy Infinite XP back again. I'm actually sitting down this time. The other videos I'm standing up. Anyways, I'm back with a review of sorts, and I don't know where I'm going. Let's just get into this. So this review is on Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I haven't played an AC in a while, and I have been getting excited due to Ubisoft remaking Black Flag and it being out in, I think, a couple of weeks with Assassin's Creed Black Flag resynced. So I thought 2 or 3 months ago at least I'd replay Odyssey because I've only beaten it once, and that was when it first came out in 2015, I believe. And I haven't played it since, and I kind of had the idea of starting playing the games in chronological order via the past. I know present-wise it'll be all over, or to a certain extent. So chronological-wise, Odyssey comes first, and I just wanted to get this one out of the way as well. So yeah, let's get into it. Hopefully the lighting looks good when I edit this, and for you guys as well. I got the only light I got is the mod. Anyways, okay, so I'll begin with a little backstory of when I first started Assassin's Creed, and this was back when 2010 with Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. So I've been with the series for quite a while now. I have played 1 and 2, and then all the other ones. The only ones I haven't played have been the spin-offs. I know Altair had some spin-off games, and then there were the Assassin's Creed Chronicles or something. There was India, Russia, and China, I think. Never played those or the Altair spin-offs. I don't know if there's spin-offs for Ezio or anything like that, but I've been with the series for quite a while now, and AC1 through Syndicate had kind of the same formula. They ended up doing I guess you could say, a soft reboot of the franchise, and that's when they created Assassin's Creed Origins, and they took the franchise or did something different. So now they added light RPG elements to the game, and that's Origins started it. And by the way, I actually loved Origins. I think whatever, keep with the program here. I love the game. I still love the Origins. I thought Bayek and their story was phenomenal. I loved it. I think Bayek was actually pretty cool. I still wish Ubisoft made a sequel for him. But yeah, so fast forward, they update the game, and then they come out with the first DLC for Origins, and then the second, and then alright, we're done. We're moving on to the next game. And now we're here at Odyssey, which is 2015, I believe. Excuse me, 2018. And for this one, they wanted to delve more into the RPG elements, and here we are. Alright. So there was a quick introduction of my history with the franchise. Loved it. Or Odyssey was probably the first one that I had a love-hate relationship with. I guess technically the first would be Syndicate, because Syndicate was different. Anyways, so for the RPG, I wasn't the biggest fan on Odyssey. Like I said, I bought it in 2018. I played it. I had to force myself to beat it. Haven't touched it since. And now here we are in 2027. They've come out with Valhalla, Shadows, and now the remake of Black Flag. So I went back, and my idea was I would try to get through all of Odyssey, then Origins, and then this Mirage, the Valhalla, try to make my way up until Black Flag. That didn't go so well. So here we are. So let's officially begin this review, if you could call the videos I do reviews or whatever. So, alright, this game is something else. This game broke me. It's broken. I'm broken. Okay. And I will begin with how many hours I have logged into this. I have around 326 hours that I have put into this game. I chose to play with Cassandra, and I'm a mixed bag on it. I do like this game better than what I did originally back in 2018, and I'm glad I'm glad I played it, or at least the complete version of it, with both DLCs of Fates of Atlantis and the Legacy of the First Blade, but I'm not gonna do those two. I think those two I'm gonna do as a separate review. So this review is just going to be on the base game itself. So let's start from the beginning. You start in present day with the new character that was introduced in Origins. Her name was Layla. Pardon me if I don't remember every detail, but you have Layla gets her hands on the Spear of Leonidas, and you have to, for some reason, delve into the Animus to find the history of the Spear of Leonidas. I don't remember why we have the Spear of Leonidas to begin with. Like I said, I'm not probably gonna remember everything, even though I just beat it a couple days ago, but I've been playing this for like, I think two months now. So you start for that, and then you go into the past, and the Spear of Leonidas has 2 strands of DNA, one of which is the 2 playable characters. And this was actually the first game that introduced the male versus female character that you can play as. So the female is Cassandra, and then you have the male, which is Alexios, and they're actually brother and sister. So you could choose which one you want. I went with the canon choice, which was Cassandra, and I played with her. There's that. So you play as Cassandra Alexios, and you find out that their family was broken. Cassandra Alexios is Spartan, and they have Isu DNA, or a higher percentage of Isu DNA. There's a cult that follows them. The cult orchestrated this scheme to kill them off as children, but they both ended up living. So now you're playing as Cassandra or Alexios, trying to, at some point, restore the family that you had. So that's basically, I would say, the main part of the story is Cassandra finding how to restore the family that she had. This also is the first AC game chronological sense. So this is before the Assassins, before the Templars. This is even before the Proto-Assassins and Templars were even, I would say, officially formed, I guess. So before the Assassins, they were known as the Hidden Ones, for those who don't know, and before the Templars, they were known as the Order of the Ancients, I believe. The Order of the Ancients do show up in the Legacy of the First Blade DLC, but we'll talk about that later, and they're not even in the base game, so again, talk about that later. And the Hidden Ones aren't even a thing yet either. You do learn that there is, from what I remember, from how I perceived it, there is a branch of the Order of Ancients that branched off and became addicted to the whole lineage of Cassandra and Alexios, and they became the Cult of Cosmos. Overall, it's kind of the same thing with how Templars work, or the Order of the Ancients, where these people are orchestrating politics, and they have their hands on wealth, and they all work from the shadows, basically. So we'll start here. I am not a fan of how they did it in this one. You have this giant tree with different branches of the Cult of Cosmos, and it's just that. I mean, you get rewards for killing each one, and then there's a grand reward for the leader of said branch, which is fine, but they're all just NPCs that you find in the game if you explore like I did. For me personally, that just sucks. I think there's 3 on the top of my head that I can remember that were actually in the story, but beyond that, they're all just random NPCs that are just scattered around the entire map of Greece. I think it's Greece. There's nothing special about them. Like I said, besides the 3, there's nothing special. I really do not like how this is handled. I wish the Cult of Cosmos was a lot smaller in that regard, and that they were actually in the story and focused on, because I don't know, I don't care about the Cult of Cosmos because of them not in the story. And the ones that were in the story, I still didn't really care about either. I think the gameplay wise of it, it's fine. I'm trying to find a way to word this. I guess if you play the game, you might understand what I'm trying to get at. If not, I apologize. But I just wish it was a smaller group that was actually in the story of Odyssey, instead of just, here's only a select few that are actually in the story that you're not going to really care about because they're not in my opinion, really that well written, and the other ones are just scattered throughout the map that you'll just find, and you won't even know that they're part of the cult, because there's many times where I would just go inside a camp or wherever, kill somebody, and they're like, oh, confirm your cultist kill. Okay. Next off is the main characters. This is probably one of the worst things I have for me personally about Odyssey. I did not care about a lot of the characters. I really didn't. Cassandra was fine. I do think to a certain extent she's way overblown, or blown out of proportion with how important she really is. Or if anything, I do wish she would have more games as her as a playable character. Just going off of Odyssey, she was alright. I don't think there's anything special to write home about when it comes to her character. You do have her brother Alexios, or his other name is Demos. He gets abducted by the cult and tortured and raised by them, and they call him Demos. He was alright. There's part of the story that, I just explained, that you find out that he was abused as like a child and he wasn't raised right. There's just parts of the story that it doesn't take that seriously to a certain extent. Like, for example, when you go to you have the spear in Leonidas, and Cassandra has it, or if you chose Alexios, and you can upgrade said spear. When you upgrade the spear the first time, Demos finds you and you have a talk with him, and it's this weird relationship dynamic, because he was abandoned, or he was thrown off a cliff to die, and he was raised by this cult, so he's not all there mentally, and yet as Cassandra, or I think even if you chose Alexios, it's the same thing, but you kind of play it off like, oh, hey little bro, how's it going? It's been so long since I've seen you, yada yada yada, and it's so weird that that's what they went with and not something else, considering that you haven't seen your brother, or last time you saw your brother you were a child and he was literally a baby. He wouldn't know who you are, at least to me, and you're acting like you guys have seen each, it's only been 2 weeks since we saw each other or something, and I don't know, the dialogue between the characters when it came to Cassandra and Demos, or Alexios, and I think even the mother later in the game, is just bizarre. It doesn't take it really seriously, even though he has a dark background. It just kind of plays it off like it's not that serious. So it's weird on that half. Another character, which her mother, Alexios and Cassandra's mother, I think it's pronounced Mirain. She was alright. I do wish we got to see her more in the game instead of towards the end of the main story, or at least Cassandra's family story. I thought she was pretty well written. There is a part in the story where you find her after all these years, because like I said, Alexios got sacrificed and he got thrown off a cliff. Cassandra goes to save him. I'm hoping you all played the game so you know what I'm talking about. Cassandra ends up falling off a cliff as well. She lives. So you have a mother that's... I'm so sorry, this thing's all out there. So you basically just have a storyline. You have this... I'm trying to find a way to word it. You have Cassandra and Alexios who haven't seen their mother in years. The mother who has thought these kids have been dead for years have kind of moved on with her life to a certain extent. But like I was saying, Cassandra meets her mother, and I was kind of hoping for, again, a more serious cutscene, and it's just, not saying it wasn't bad, but it was just, I feel like the mom gets over it too quickly. And she even mentions to Cassandra that she spent her whole life grieving for her kids, and finally, to a certain extent, moving on, just for her daughter to walk back in. I was kind of hoping for her to have this mental breakdown where it's yeah, no, you're a ghost, I'm seeing things, and instead it's just, okay, I'm glad you're alive, let's move on. I was kind of hoping for something a bit more serious, and it's kind of a theme for this game where there's serious parts of the story, and it just kind of doesn't take it seriously. I don't know, it's bizarre to me, I guess. You have the father, Nicholas. He was alright. I thought he was a pretty bland character. Actually, he was really bland. He was the one that threw Cassandra off the cliff. at the beginning, once you find out her past. That's about it for some of the main characters. For me personally, when it comes to this game, a lot of the characters are just not memorable at all. There's nothing to write home about. I think the best one would be the main character, Cassandra herself, or if you played as Alexios, but a lot of the characters are just not well written to me, in my opinion. I didn't really care that much for them. There's a one guy I actually did like, I forgot. He always will question you when you'll answer him, and then he'll question it with a question. I forgot what his name was, but he was alright. But beyond that, so this, I think I kind of went over the good and bad of the story. I'm glad I played it. I'm glad I finally finished Odyssey for the first time, completely 100%ed it. But it's also very repetitive, and even the story, where I do think the story is dragged out way too long than what it needs to be. I'll just leave that there. So we're gonna move on to the world now. So this is ancient Greece. I don't want to sound too negative, because I generally am glad. I really want to emphasis, whatever. I did enjoy playing this game. I truly do love it. I'm glad I played it. I can see why, to a certain extent, this game is people's favorites. To a certain extent, I do get it, but as somebody that's grew up with Assassin's Creed and plays these games for the Assassin versus Templar thing, or even I'd be more okay with the proto versions of the Hidden Ones versus Order of the Ancients. This game just does not have that. So anyways, the world is good. I will say, for a game that came out in 2018, and I think I would even go with even Origins, the game is beautiful. There are some parts where I'll probably put it in while I'm editing some of the screenshots I took. It is a gorgeous game, even for standards now, but it gets boring and repetitive very fast. There's only so many times you can see the same beach so many times. The same thing you can only see so many, I think it's olive orchards, so many times. And it's just rinsed and repeated so many times throughout the map. And I think there was a saying that a lot of people said about Odyssey when this game first came out. It's as big as an ocean, but as deep as a puddle. And it really is though. I think the map they chose is way too big. I'm not mad at it, but I really wish that this map was way smaller than what actually is. Like I said, it's just the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Beaches with palm trees, olive orchards, some, I guess, like areas that look like it's like the fall, and it's just repeated throughout the entire map over and 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 over again. And it gets really tiring to explore because you've seen it so many times. So the other thing with ancient Greece, there's a lot of water. You get your own ship. It was alright. It's a more streamlined, I would say, experience of the ship system from Black Flag. It's alright. I don't care for it. I didn't really sail the boat or did anything unless I needed to, whether for a side quest or the main quest, but it's alright. I prefer it way much more in Black Flag. I think Black Flag's sailing experience is like way more fun and rewarding as well than Odyssey's. And also talking about side quest, there's a lot of side quests in this game, a lot, and it will keep you busy. Again, I didn't really care that much for it. I thought a lot of them were just write-offs just to prolong this game than what it really needs to be. All that being said, I'm not trying to sound like a negative Nancy here. I do like this game. I'll get to the overall pros and negatives at the end, but yeah, this game was just way too big for what it needs to be. I think this game would have excelled way more if it had a smaller world. We're gonna move on from that. So that was the world and side quest aspects. Now we're on combat. So there's 3 different tiers. You have the warrior, you have we're going right to left. You have hunter, which is all about bows and arrows, the warrior, and then you have assassin. I'm playing an Assassin's Creed game. I'm going as assassin. I'm playing stealth, and that's any game actually. If I have an option to play stealth, I'm playing stealth. The combat is fun. It does get repetitive very quickly though. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I'll just say that. Stealth is very fun in the game. I don't think it's anything to write home about though. I think it's the same thing from Origins, redid a little bit to fit in with Odyssey. I didn't really touch that much on Warrior or even the Hunter skill trees. The only thing I did was to increase my Hunter damage with the bow and arrow and then my Warrior damage. All my skills were pretty much in the Assassin tree. So I didn't really, or as much as I could, didn't try to get into fights as much as I tried to. There is a new system. I don't think it was in Origins. I could be wrong. I don't think it was. In Odyssey, the big thing is your character is a mercenary. So they have this giant mercenary system where these mercenaries come after you if you have bounty, or you can kill them and then you'll rise up through this mercenary rank thing. I don't even know why it's here in the game. I get it as a sense that your character's a mercenary, you're trying to become this rich and powerful mercenary. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. I didn't care that much for it. It's there. It's whatever. This is how I feel. It's just whatever. It's whatever. I'm sorry. It's whatever. I don't care for it. So that was the combat. We're moving on to the RPG systems. I don't know why Assassin's Creed needs this RPG system. I didn't mind it in Origins, and I think Shadows does it well as well. It's more lighter of an RPG system. I think Origins, maybe Valhalla. I have Valhalla. I haven't touched it since it came out though. I don't see why it needs it. It's an Assassin's Creed game. I'm not saying that it couldn't work. I just don't want it in Assassin's Creed, if that makes sense. There are tons of gear, there's tons of loot. There are cool ones. I don't know. It's whatever. There's leveling. I think you can level up to level 99. It does take a while. This game is actually really grindy. It's whatever. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Of the RPG system. It's whatever. I did talk about graphics. I talked about visuals. Performance was alright. I did crash a couple times, which I don't know why. It annoyed me though. Voice acting. I don't know if it's just bad voice direction from Ubisoft or they're like hiring not so great voice actors, but there is a lot of NPCs that you talk to through side quest and main quest don't exactly have the best voice acting. I've never voice acted, so I'm not gonna dog on them too much. I don't know if this is just bad voice direction from Ubisoft. I'm just gonna leave it there. Could be way more better. So we reached the end. It's right now, as I'm recording, it's 30 minutes. I was trying to avoid this, so I'm just gonna be hurrying up through this. So my final verdict, would I recommend it? Yes. Even as an Assassin's Creed fan, I would still recommend it. Like I said, I did have fun, but I am very much burnt out at the end of it. There is a new game plus for this game. I don't mean this to be mean. I don't think I'll ever play this game again, or if I do, it will be a very, very, very long time from now. I liked it. I played it once. I'm good to go on that. I'm good. I think it's good as an RPG game. I think as an Assassin's Creed game, it's very lacking. There's some aspects from Assassin's Creed, but beyond that, I think it's more of an RPG game than it is Assassin's Creed. I still don't know why they went with the story they went with. I like the idea of a mercenary turned assassin would be cooler, or a mercenary turned hidden one, or a pre-hidden one. It is what it is. I would recommend it. I think if it looks interesting to you, play it. If it doesn't, I would say skip it. Or just, if anything, just research it so you can be up to date on, I guess, this game if you want. I don't know. If I had to give it a score, I'd probably give it a 6, honestly. It's better than, it's not 5. I think the base game, not the DLCs, not entirely going up. If I'm doing a final score based on Odyssey plus DLCs, maybe an 8 or 7 if anything. But I think for the base game itself, I would say it's a 6. I think it's passable. I think it is fun for a while. It does get repetitive. Yeah, if I look drained talking about it, it's because I am. This game took 2 months for me to complete it. From 1% to 100%, to do all the base game, to do everything. Upgrade your ship, upgrade the armors, upgrade the weapons, upgrade your skill tree, do all the DLC episodes, do the Legacy of the First Blade, then they do the Fate of Atlantis, 100% that DLC, 100% the other DLC. This game, there's a lot to it, but it does get very repetitive, and it burns me out. I am so sorry if I can't cut this down a lot. I do think I did somewhat better for this one. Yeah, I know, I apologize. I think most of my reviews are out there. They're not really cohesive. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I do plan on playing, because I want to get back into gaming for at least a little bit, to try to get back into YouTube a little bit more than what I have been. So I might do a playthrough or a let's play of Black Flag. Maybe not, I don't know. I'll do at least an introduction video with it. But yeah, before all that being said and done, I hope you all enjoyed this review or this video. If you did, always leave a like and subscribe, please. And I will see you all in the next video. I love you all. Bro fist or whatever. Bye.